Hi, my name is Rich, and I'm a member on a forum, squarebirds.org. My member name is 1960 Thunderbird, and here we have my 1960 Thunderbird. It's been in the family since the 80s. My dad bought it in Texas, and unfortunately, the last 13 or more years, it's been sitting and without much being done to it. Hasn't been driven, and as you can see, has not fared too great. It was quite a beautiful car when we first got it, just circumstances and such. I recently bought a house with a barn, and I told my dad that I was going to steal the car away and start restoring it again. So that's the path I'm on right now, the restoration path. And my first hassle along that path was my lock for the trunk. And this is a short video, hopefully, which will explain first of all how the lock mechanism works, and secondly how to access your trunk if your lock is no longer working. My lock, for instance, was completely rusted up due to age, weather, and the fact that mice had built nests all over this car. Unfortunately, they built a nest right where the lock cylinder is and below, and they had built a nest inside the latch, which along with the nest and the urine and such had rusted up everything and bound it up. It was completely completely bound. I was able to unfreeze everything today, luckily, after I got the trunk free. So first I'm going to show you how the lock mechanism works, and then I will go through the steps to be able to access your trunk if you should ever lock your key in the trunk and not have a spare, or have the same problem here where your lock mechanism rusts or gets frozen somehow. So here you can see the lock mechanism is now free. It turns 1/4 turn. What that does is it turns a latch underneath here, and it pushes down on the mechanism. As you can see, it's moving here. What that does is pushes down on this lock piece here, and it pushes it toward the rear of the car, releasing the gear back here. It'll allow it to freely spin. That will allow it to release itself from this latch, which goes right here. I've left the 2 bolts in as a visual aid for later on, because these are the 2 bolts that we will need to unbolt to release this latch so we can open up the trunk if your trunk is also frozen. So we'll continue over there now. As you can see here in the rear of the car, I've got the rear seat removed, the bottom and the rear part of it. It unfortunately had some mice nests in it, of course, so I had a little bit of a surprise when I pulled the bottom part of the rear seat out. It's very simple to pull the bottom part out. You just pull up on it and it will release from the car. There's a couple of areas where it latches in, but it's a very simple, just pull up on it, it releases, you pull it out. The rear of the seat is also very simple. There are 4 bolts holding it on. You'll need a flathead screwdriver and your 3/8 size socket. Over here there will be a bolt holding a ring-shaped or oval ring-shaped piece of metal which holds the seat up. And you'll remove that with your flathead screwdriver. Same thing on the other side. That'll be on the sides. Then you'll have two bolts right here and be underneath this carpet here. Those are the 3/8 size. They come out very easily. Once you get those 4 bolts out, all you have to do is slide the rear of the seat down. Here's 1 clip, 2 clip. You just slide it down, it comes out of those clips, comes right out. Very simple. Now the next step is to remove the cardboard which will be blocking these holes here. I ended up having to tear mine out because there were a bunch of tools and other supplies and such in the back here, as well as the spare tire which was blocking my ability to just take it out. But if your trunk is fairly clean, you should just be able to take the cardboard off of these clips here and then just push it up inside and out of your way, and that will preserve that cardboard so you don't have to buy another piece. I'm buying another piece anyhow. As you can see, the mice had gotten to it, as well as moisture and such. The next thing you need to do is get as many extensions as you possibly can. I have about 15 here. You're going to need about 4 feet of extension. As you can see, I went ahead and put them all together, duct taped them together to make sure that they were not going to come apart on me. And then at the very end is either a 13mm or a 1/2 inch socket. You want a 6-point socket. The 1/2 inch is the size of the bolt, but 13mm is the same exact thing. Basically what you want to do is, if your spare tire is not in the trunk, you're going to have easy access because you can just use the middle here, the middle 2 holes. And if you look back there, you can see those 2 bolts that I was talking about before. Very simple. If your spare tire is in here, you will not be able to see those bolts through the middle holes. So you will have to access it through one of the side holes, which is what I had to do, unfortunately. So you get your super large extension in there, and all you have to do is go ahead, reach those bolts, and then unbolt them. Once you get them loose, they come out very easily. Once you've got those out, the latch will be free and your trunk will pop open. I hope this has helped everybody a little bit, and good luck with your project.